So welcome back to another video about the construction process for building a house. So today we're out on a job site where they're getting ready to pour a basement foundation. So this is a complex process, so this video might be a little bit on the choppy side, so I'll apologize in advance. But it's a really cool process and it's got a lot of really cool equipment that's involved. So behind me, this house is formed up for the basement. Those forms are both aluminum and steel, and they're all braced up, ready to have the concrete poured into them to form the basement walls. So they're setting up the equipment now. We'll take a quick break and then we'll come back. So what they're doing right now is they're setting up this big piece of equipment. It's called a pumper truck, and it's made specially to pump concrete long distances. This big arm has a pipe that runs through it and then comes out the end there. The fellow who's on the one side over here is the guy that controls the whole thing. He has a remote control, just like you would use with a remote control car or whatever, that'll control this big piece of equipment so that he can see what's going on out at the job site. So another piece of equipment that is used is obviously a concrete truck. This big truck will mix the concrete, and then that big barrel that's turning keeps it all mixed up. Now when he gets ready to pour, he'll actually reverse that, and it's got spines inside that'll push that concrete up and push it into the concrete pumper truck. So the first bits of concrete now are flowing out of the truck and into the pumper truck, up through this big beam and coming out the other side. Now they'll start filling this whole form up all the way around, and they'll fill it up with concrete. You'll also see rebar along the edge over here. That rebar will get set in as the concrete is poured to reinforce that concrete. And then the concrete that they're pouring is a special mix made specially for a concrete basement. So now we got the drone going up here, and you can see the overall site. Now we'll take it up here, and you can see how those forms set up the basement all the way around. There's that big pumper truck. They're lining up the cement trucks to be able to produce enough concrete to fill up all those forms. So let's take it up a lot higher now. This gives you a good idea of just how many people are involved in that process. All of those guys are going to be involved in pouring out and making all of that concrete form into that basement wall. So what you're seeing right now is they are pumping all of that concrete down into those forms. The one person is putting rebar down into the concrete, and he's pressing it down in there. The other fella that has the kind of yellow looking device on the side, he has a unit that'll vibrate the concrete in place, making sure that there's no voids in the concrete as they pour it. So we'll come back and show what the final product looks like once they've got it all done. Oh, one other thing before we leave. See the fella with the hard hat over there that looks like a flat piece of tool? That's called a trowel. He's troweling it off, making sure that that top surface is level with the top of the forms. So ironically, we said we were going to come back to the other job site, which is right over there. But just as we pulled around the corner, we realized that right next door is the final product once it's done. So this is what it looks like after those forms have been pulled off. It kind of looks like brick. You'll notice that there's bolts that have been stuck in. That's where the house itself is going to attach to the foundation. Everything is leveled off. It doesn't have to be perfectly finished, because they're going to put a layer of sealer between that and the wood when it comes down on top of it. But this is what it looks like. You can see how it forms out, creates the basement. One thing that I'll have Sarah zoom in on here if she can, you'll notice up in the back side of that basement, there's little notches that have been put in. Those notches are specially put in there so that when they set the steel that'll create the beginnings of the house, that steel will set right down into those little notches in the foundation. So hey, I hope you like this video. If you like it, please press that like button, share, subscribe. See you in the next video.